Hello, I'm Kads, and welcome to today's video. So we are in the throes of the Emic Trunkheart fusion going on right now, and of course it is the Summon Rush, the first weekend of the fusion. If we take a look at the event in question, the Summon Rush here, we can see that I was actually somewhat pessimistic, I guess, in hindsight here, but I was thinking this was going to be somewhere around 4,000 and something points, but it's actually around a measly, comparatively speaking, 3,000 points. So all we have to do is pull 6 sacreds, which we are going to do in this video today. You may have already spied it, but let's look at our shard count as of right now. So you can see that we are at a whopping 526 on the ancients, 210 on the voids, and 68 on the sacreds. And before those, because I do get the question a lot in the comments, yes, these are all free to play obtained, so none of these were purchased. They were accumulated and saved over time. And if you check out the rest of my shard pull videos, you can see how my pulling style equates to me having an abundance of shards. But as I said, our focus today will be on the sacreds, and we are going to pull 6. I'm not going to worry about the mystery shards that I will have, or that I have used and will use for the champion training tournament that's going on. We're just going to pull the 6 sacreds, and we're going to overshoot the 3,000s ever so slightly. As usual, I like to pop up the mercy tracker so you guys can see what I see on a regular basis as far as where I am relative to mercy on legendary and sometimes on epics, because sometimes that is important, at least to me. So we are 7 shards pulled, and so we're 5 until mercy, meaning that if no legendary occurs today, we're pulling 6. So we will have entered mercy. That does not mean we're guaranteed a legendary by any means, but we will be guaranteed to get to mercy if there is no legendary pulled. In terms of the wish list, it has not changed. If we do get a legendary at all, we're still looking for one of the poison exploders, Xavier or Elnaril. I'll take a Valkyrie as well to upgrade clan boss, and a Molly tankard because of her beast modeness in Hydra clan boss. However, I don't know now if I need crowd in the blue source epics, so maybe that is a change. I might be able to get by with Newt and Yakarl, but I haven't tested out Fire Knight hard teams just yet. I'm still working on a couple of things, preparing for that. But in lieu of that, we are still looking for Sylvan Watchers to bolster our faction guardians. I'd also thought that Crowd in the Blue would be useful for a CC freezing champion for the Faction Wars crypt for Sylvan Watchers, but it really seems like I really need another DPS, an AoE DPS, more than another support / CC champion. So with all of that out of the way, let's get to the shard pulls. We've got some space, we've got a bunch of cash, and hopefully we've got some average decent luck. Let's get into it. Shard number 1 is going to be most likely an epic. Yeah, that's what we expect. A husk. So we did hit one of the champions on the 10x. Actually, I didn't talk about the champions on the 10x, but they are a bunch of epics and legendaries that are good in the Hydra clan boss. So husk being one of them. Provoke on the A1, really good for the Head of Decay. That he's what I use on my brutal team / nightmare team. And I also do like the A2 here, which is an enemy max HP hit. Not the hardest hitting as far as champions in the game, or epics for that matter, but it is still nonetheless pretty good. He's very, really solid in a relentless set. We're going to use him in Hydra because you get multiple chances to provoke on the A1, and we kind of just ignore the A3, honestly. Shard number 2 is going to be probably another epic, yes. And it is not from the 10x, and it is Mausoleum Mage, one of Ash's favorite epics in the game. He is, or formerly was, like the premium seer activator, so to speak, because he had 3 relatively unique debuffs that was great. But I think Lydia kind of took that place as far as being the primary buffer and debuffer for seer comps. But nonetheless, he was like the old school way of pairing him with seer. Also has a pretty decent cleanse here, removes all debuffs from all allies, and it heals them a bit more if more debuffs, or if debuffs are removed, so pretty decent. And then decrease speed on the A1. Shard number 3, we are halfway through, and it is probably another epic. Yes, okay. There's Tarshan is a provoke on the A1, relatively low chance, and it's only a single hitter, so it's not the best. He is one of the few champions in the game that does have increased turn meter and increased defense, so he's good, decent for powering up some defensive based nukers, and he's relatively quick at 100 base speed, but not super fast. But I don't think he really gets much playtime even for that purpose. I think he has a AoE weaken as well, but that probably would be better if that was decreased defense. But yeah, like more of a faction wars champ if you're going to use him at all. Shard number 4, here we go, another epic in the bag. bag, and it is going to be Caden, one of the cool revivers for the Dark Elves faction crypt if you need him for that purpose, because he does have a 2 random ally revive, 50% HP, and increased defense, so they're a little bit survivable when they come back to life. Also has an AoE decrease attack, 100% chance, and then a provoke on the A1. So pretty decent champion, really solid for faction wars, a little bit of CC, a little bit of damage reduction, as well as a reviver. So solid champion for that purpose. We've got 2 more to go, 2 more sacreds. This is number 5, and we get another epic, Yelagurna, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, I don't actually remember what she does. Attacks one enemy, block buffs, and block active skills. Always critical, not the best. AoE decrease attack, 100% chance. I guess if you really need that for the faction crypt for orcs, but probably you can do without. And then increase attack on herself if it kills someone. Yeah, probably, well, not a recommendation from me to use her, but if you really need AoE decrease attacks, you might be able to do it. Maybe she has decent multipliers, I'm not sure. But I guess attack and faction crypt aura. And last up, we have the last sacred of the day, and it is going to be an legendary. Interesting. Richthof the Bold. He is one of those like dragon, old school dragon solo champions, because he does have, where is it? This ability here, Bloodletting, where he can place an AoE poison, 3 poisons on all enemies. But unfortunately, I have a Tomb Lord and a Calvalax who can do 4 poisons AoE, so he's probably not going to get much mileage on my account. But nonetheless, he is one of those champions if I really did need a poisoner. Maybe for faction wars? I guess that doesn't really need to be booked for this to happen. So maybe he can be a little bit of a DPS, but I guess my banner is kind of stacked, so probably not. But yeah, we managed to get a legendary after all. Not one I was hoping for, definitely, and probably not one that I'll use. And it's kind of a shame because I was kind of hoping to be in Mercy so that if there was a good 10x or whatever is coming up for the midweek summon rush coming up in a few days, maybe if there's something there, a good 10x or some champions that I actually want, then I would have a higher chance of getting legendary. But seems like we are fully reset back to 0. So that's going to do it for the shard pulls. The fragments are in the bag. Let's double check on the summon rush itself. We should be just over 3,000 points. And yep, we can collect all of these things except the energy. Waiting for the Dungeon Divers to start tomorrow so we can crush it in the Ice Golem. Well, and if anyone is curious, I've already done the artifact enhancement. I accidentally maxed it out. I meant to stop at 4775, but I was working on some champion builds, and that took me a little bit over the maximum there, unfortunately. But yeah, we're cruising along. I think that brings me up to 150 fragments, so we're 1.5 of the epics as far as the fusion goes. We're doing every event so far, so we're keeping on track. I think the red dot should just be the new legendary. Richthof the Bold is new on my account, and I think that should be the only red dot we got for the day. So everything else has been a dupe. So that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know down in the comment section below if you guys are going for the Emic fusion and what you got from the summon rush if you pulled some of your sacreds and or voids. As always, if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to hit that like button and that subscribe button down below for more videos in the future just like this one. Thanks for watching and have a good one.